Last week, we had a pretty interesting reveal on Konami's giant card announcement page that showed both Mulchami Perulia, or now called Mulcharmi Perulia, one of the strongest cards in Infinite Forbidden, the new Maxi, we made a video about it, and the Fiendsmith Engraver, the core key card in the Fiendsmith combo and engine, both being announced as secret rares. And of course, this is basically everyone's greatest fear. Secret rares are obviously the most expensive cards out of every set, not super accessible, but there's also other reasons why this is very poor planning and poor timing out of Konami. So today, we're going to be discussing why is it so problematic that these two cards are now going to be secret rares. And before we begin, make sure to like the video, subscribe, because we do tons of videos like this, analysis, commentary about the game, deck profiles, everything, and only 30% of you are subscribed, so might as well. So let's start off with the reveals. There has been a reveal in the North American WCQ website, I think, and it showed Mulcharmi Perulia and Fiendsmith Engraver, which is the Fiendsmith up until now known as that in the OCG, both being announced as secret rares. We saw the images, it had both of them with the secret rare lettering, and there's no confusion that these two cards are going to be secret rares. Now, secret rares are always the most expensive cards out of core sets. There's only 10 secret rares per core set, and there's only 2 per box, which means there's 24 per case, and cases go up to $600, $700. So you can see how the supply is extremely limited when it comes to secret rares. And when the secret rare is a card that everybody needs, and this happened not so long ago with Wanted Seeker of Sensible Spoils, and it happened with SP Little Knight, and both of them went all the way up to close to $100 for each copy, which is crazy. And Wanted is a 3-of card, SP is maybe a 1-of in a lot of decks, but you know, it's really, really hard, and it becomes extremely expensive once a card like this is announced as secret rare. So yeah, Mulcharmi Perulia, if you don't know, is the Maxi equivalent we're getting to the TCG right now. This also came out in the OCG, we made a video about that. But this card is questionably gonna be maybe played in a lot of decks, maybe almost every single deck. This card lets you draw a card every time your opponent summons from the hand until the end of the turn. So it's basically a pseudo Maxi that works a little bit differently, but still a very strong card. And Konami, of course, realizing that and making this card a secret rare. This card, obviously, in the OCG, was just a rare. So that's a big upgrade. Now, besides this 1-of card, the Fiendsmith or Fiendsmith Engraver, which is the level 6 that is the key core part of the engine, is a card that people are going to want to play in 3, and Fiendsmith is seeing a ton of play in the OCG right now. It's a very strong card. We're making a lot of videos about Fiendsmith because this is basically the next big engine after Sinful Spoils. This engine lets you make a Link 2 and a rank 6 all out of one card, and it allows for pretty toxic combos. Now, Konami knows that this is going to be the backbone of the Infinite Forbidden format, which is probably why they made it into a secret rare. So we have Mulcharmi and we have Fiendsmith Engraver. Both of them are 3-of cards in many decks. So you're going to be needing 3 copies of each, and these cards can go up towards $50, $60, all the way to $100, and we've seen this lately with Age of Overlord. Another important piece of why this is really poor timing is because we are in the World Championship qualifier season. NAWCQ, which is the North American Championship qualifier that qualifies, it's basically the nationals of North America, but it also qualifies people for the World Championship, and the same goes for the EUWCQ, which is the qualifier for the EU. Both are happening really close to Infinite Forbidden. Infinite Forbidden is coming out the same weekend as the North American WCQ, and a week later is the EUWCQ. So that means people are going to be on opening Infinite Forbidden to get to Fiendsmith, and these cards are going to be really sought after. So you have a set releasing on the weekend and the weekend before the biggest event in the competitive year besides the World Championship, and people are going to be scrambling to get 3 copies of Fiendsmith and Mulcharmi Perulia. And, you know, since this is the first tournament of the format, it means that people might have been testing, but we don't really know the effect of these cards on the meta. And because of that, people are just going to need to buy them in case they're really good, and they're going to need to buy them on the same weekend, which is crazy. I'm not going to be in the NAWCQ, but I can imagine vendors are going to be eating good that weekend. Now, we talked about Age of Overlord, which had the Horus cards, the Wanted cards, and SPL United Secret Rares. We got a big hit there, and this was a really, really strong engine set, not unlike Infinite Forbidden. We have White Woos, we have the Millennium cards, we have, of course, the Fiendsmith, we have a lot of really good cards in the set. We're making a lot of videos on Infinite Forbidden, so make sure you check it out. And Konami, from Age of Overlord until now in Infinite Forbidden, actually kind of took a break from putting expensive cards, or like the good cards, as secret rares. We saw that in Phantom Nightmare, where they proved everybody wrong by making Promethean Princess and Snake Eyes Poplar as ultra rares and not secret rares, which of course probably halved their price. If these cards were secret rare, they would have been much more expensive, because again, these cards were ushering in the tier 0 Snake Eye format, and these were the core cards. So they didn't do it in Phantom Nightmare. And also, Legacy of Destruction, if you think about it, the strongest archetype in a very mid set that was Legacy of Destruction was actually Tenpai Dragon. And Tenpais were all commons and supers. And people were extremely surprised of that, because usually, as we saw in Age of Overlord and as we're seeing now, Konami knows how to put these strong cards, these playable cards that you know exactly what the meta is going to look like, and they put these cards as secret rares. We also saw this in the past with sets like Cyberstorm Access, with a super heavy Samurai engine being very low rarity, and we also saw that with the Bestials in Bestial Magnuma, Druid's Worm, and Serenir being low rarity, and also Kashtira's, Fenrir, Unicorn, those were only ultra. So Konami knows how to make good cards, also low rarity. And the last thing is that we currently don't even have a ban list for the WCQ season, and we also don't know if we're getting a ban list. So, what Konami can do to manipulate the market even further towards playing Fiendsmith is actually hitting Snake Eye, hitting the consistency of the Snake Eye and Sinful Spoils engine to make Fiendsmith even more required in order to play. Because today, you might play this in decks like Yubel, you might add it to Snake Eye instead of some non-engine, but you don't really have to play it because Snake Eye is super consistent as it is. But imagine Snake Eye Ash going to 1 or Wanted being hit as well. Now, you really want to play the Fiendsmith because it increases the consistency. So we don't even know if we're getting a ban list for the WCQ season, but all we know is that Konami can actually manipulate the market really well and introduce a ban list that makes the Fiendsmith sell more. So while we were all happy that Tenpai Dragon was a super low rarity deck, now we're seeing the other side of this equation where Konami puts the most expensive cards, the most powerful cards in the set as secret rares, and they know exactly what they're doing. So yeah, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are really mad, because this is another format where people are going to be feeling priced out and not being able to play these decks. And that, combined with the fact that we don't really have a ban list or any communication towards a ban list for the WCQ season, fingers crossed there will be, this is looking pretty bad right now. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on Malcharmi and Fiendsmith being secret rares. I personally think that this is not the way. Putting the most wanted cards as secrets is always going to lead to them being super expensive, but also on the weekend of a WCQ, guys, this is a big miss. Your thoughts in the comments, like the video, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.